settling into a posture that reflects readiness rather than withdrawal, sensing that this practice is not an escape from daily life, but a training for meeting it more fully. Feel the body as it is, perhaps seated comfortably, perhaps standing, or even imagining yourself in motion, and recognize that awareness does not depend on stillness. Take a few natural breaths and notice how attention already knows sensations, sounds, and thoughts without effort. Today's practice focuses on integrating concentration into daily life, allowing the steadiness you cultivate in formal meditation to flow naturally into work, study, conversations, and ordinary routines. Instead of thinking of focus as something confined to a cushion or a specific time, begin to sense it as a quality of presence that can accompany you anywhere. Bring attention gently to the breath, not to withdraw from the world, but to establish a baseline of steadiness you can return to repeatedly. Notice how the breath continues whether you are aware of it or not, offering a reliable anchor amid constant change. Now imagine yourself transitioning from this moment into a typical activity, perhaps starting work, opening a book, responding to messages, or preparing a meal. As you imagine this, continue to feel the breath in the background. Notice how attention can include both the task and the anchor, learning to remain present without becoming rigid. This ability to hold attention lightly yet consistently is the bridge between meditation and daily life. Begin to explore the principle of one thing at a time. Even in complex environments, the mind can choose to fully engage with the primary task of the moment. Recall that distraction is not a failure, but a cue to return. As you breathe, reflect on how often daily life fragments attention, pulling it into multitasking, anticipation, and rumination. Gently set the intention to meet each task as it arises with full presence, even if only briefly. Now bring to mind a recent moment when you felt scattered or overwhelmed. Notice what happened to attention. Perhaps it jumped between concerns, tensed in the body, or narrowed into urgency. Instead of judging this, observe it as a pattern. Insight begins with recognition. Imagine revisiting that same moment with the skills you are cultivating now. See yourself pausing for a single breath, feeling your feet or hands, and reconnecting with a simple sensory anchor. Notice how this brief return interrupts reactivity and restores choice. This is concentration applied in real time. As you continue, sense how focus in daily life does not require intense effort. It relies more on consistent returning than on sustained force. Whether typing, listening, walking, or thinking, attention will wander, and that is natural. Each return strengthens attentional muscle. Begin to notice how even mundane activities can become anchors. Feeling the contact of your feet with the ground while walking, the sensations of hands while washing, the sound of your own voice while speaking. These sensory details bring the mind out of abstraction and into immediacy. This immediacy is where calm and clarity intersect. Now explore how focused attention supports emotional balance in daily interactions. When speaking with someone, notice the tendency to rehearse responses or drift into evaluation. Gently anchor attention in listening itself, feeling the sound of words, the tone, the pauses. When emotions arise, note them without losing contact with the present moment. This allows you to respond rather than react. Compassion naturally arises when attention is steady, because you are actually present with what is happening rather than lost in assumptions. As you breathe, recall the idea that deep work, meaningful engagement, and presence all share the same foundation: uninterrupted attention. Each time you protect even a small window of focus, you reinforce your capacity for clarity. Begin to imagine structuring your day with brief moments of intentional presence. Perhaps before starting a task, you take one conscious breath. Perhaps when transitioning between activities, you feel your body moving. These micro-practices are not additions to your schedule. They are ways of inhabiting what you already do. Now notice any resistance that arises. Thoughts like "this is impractical," or "I don't have time." Observe these as mental events, not truths. Return to sensation. Feel how presence actually conserves energy by reducing inner friction. When attention is unified, effort decreases. As the practice deepens, begin to sense that focus is not narrow or constricting. True concentration is flexible and responsive. It allows awareness to stay with what matters while adapting to change. When interruptions happen, as they will, practice meeting them fully, then returning. This rhythm of engagement and return is the heartbeat of integrated mindfulness. Bring attention now to the body as a whole, imagining yourself moving through your day grounded and alert. Sense the spine upright yet relaxed, the breath flowing naturally, the eyes attentive but soft. This embodied presence supports mental clarity. When the body is tense or collapsed, attention struggles. Simple adjustments in posture can restore focus quickly. Notice also how intention shapes attention. At the start of any activity, silently clarify your purpose. Even in simple terms like "this is what I am doing now." This gentle intentionality aligns the mind and reduces wandering. As you breathe, reflect on how integrating focus into daily life gradually reshapes habits. Over time, you notice earlier when attention drifts. You recover more quickly. You feel less pulled by every stimulus. This is not about control, but about relationship. You relate differently to thoughts, tasks, and emotions. Now imagine a future scenario where challenges arise, deadlines, conflicts, uncertainty. Visualize yourself feeling the initial stress, then pausing, grounding attention, and proceeding with clarity. Notice how this changes your experience of difficulty. The external situation may not change, but your relationship to it does. This is the practical power of integrated concentration. As the session continues, let attention rest again with the breath, feeling it as a quiet companion you can carry anywhere. Notice how awareness does not need special conditions. It functions in silence and noise, stillness and motion. This recognition dissolves the boundary between meditation and life. Everything becomes practice. Before closing, gently reflect on the simplicity of this approach. Focus is not something you acquire. It is something you remember. Each moment of remembering returns you to presence. Each return strengthens trust in your capacity to meet life directly. Take a few fuller breaths, sensing the body, the environment, and the readiness to move forward. When you open your eyes or shift posture, do so with continuity, noticing how attention can remain present even as activity resumes. Carry with you the understanding that calm, clarity, and presence are not confined to quiet moments. They are available in emails, conversations, challenges, and rest. By repeatedly returning to what you are doing now, with care and steadiness, you transform ordinary life into a field of focused awareness, where deep work, compassionate engagement, and inner balance naturally unfold, one moment of attention